Wasn't expecting this video to be so high. And I am so glad to be doing this again. It's been a long time since I've done a video. The weather hasn't been permitted, and we've had construction going on out here in Lewisburg in the streets. And I tried to do a video the other day, and all of the sound of the those trucks drowned out you couldn't hear anything except for the truck. So I'm just grateful that they're stopping for the day. Very grateful for that, because man, I've been wanting to paint so badly, and this is a really major one for me. Since I've seen it, I wanted to do it. I mean, immediately wanted to do it. I love this one. I've been really looking forward to doing another video, and it's been too cold, and I was getting upset because I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to do another video until like next year, because I'm probably running down to my last 2 or 3 days for the year of being able to paint outside. I was really nervous about that. And they put me on a different shift at work. I was on second shift, which never made it easy to do a video because I always had to rush with it. But now I'm on third shift, which doesn't necessarily make it a lot easier, but you know, what are you gonna do? So anyway, this one here is a whale. I was standing out in my garage. I noticed it a while back ago. You can see the whale here, and he's got one of those spouts where he's blowing up water. It goes to about right here before it starts coming back down, and you can clearly see the water line right here. And so this is going to be more of another oceanic scene again. So this is, I wasn't sure if it was going to be daylight or what, but I couldn't quite gauge the time of the day. But I realized that if you're going to see a whale shooting up water like that clearly and up this close, it's probably going to be in daylight. So I went ahead and decided to make it daylight. Hence all the blue. When I first started using sky blue, I was like, sky don't look this blue. And I always had to, take it down with titanium white. But after I went out west for my 50th birthday a couple of months ago, I saw how dark blue the sky was. It was like, oh, okay, now I see. Hence the reason why I liked being in the desert so much. The sky was just so blue. It was so beautiful. Here in the Midwest, we don't get blue sky like that. So at first, when I saw this, I didn't realize how high it was. And mind you, I'm only like 5'4". So I'm actually standing on a ladder to do this. But I'm just so happy to be doing this today. This is awesome. I've really needed it. It was very therapeutic for me. I'm using the largest round brushes that I could find because they seem like they do the best in carrying colors for longer distances, and nothing that I'm doing right now has to have any specific details or anything like that. Just more blending than anything else, just so that it looks kind of pretty. And another thing too is if it's not perfectly blended, that's where you can get the impression of clouds. And so that always makes it really nice when you're using these type of brushes. I just start darker, and then as I get, when you look out in front of you, you don't see like a bunch of blue. It's just clear. So I just try to like add more titanium white to the blue as I go down. And I'm only going down to this line right here, and I'm going to stop myself. Once I get close to it, I'll go ahead and I'll put it in the ocean, and I'll hop down off of my ladder and maybe put the white in from the water that the whale is shooting up. I'm shooting this video a little bit differently than I have been, for the simple fact that my audio kept on messing up with that vlogging kit that I had. And so right now I'm just simply filming it with my iPhone, nothing else. And so I'm thinking that the audio, and I increased the quality of the video, which hopefully you'll be able to hear my voice better on this one. Because anytime I would watch it on TV, I'd be like, man, you can't even hardly hear me at all. And on several occasions, the audio screwed up so bad it was just like a steady noise. You'd hear me for like 5 minutes, and then you just hear nothing but static or something like that. I kind of hated it, and so hopefully the sound will be better this time. See how it's got that nice deep blue up there on the top. I like that blue. That's one thing I like the best about being out west. And I don't believe that I'm wearing my painting jeans. I might be. Yeah, I think I am. I was gonna say I'm getting paint all over my work jeans. The jeans I always wear for work. I'm kind of hating being on third shift, but it's only temporary. The sleep quality, I don't see how anybody does it at all. Third shift, I just can't sleep. For one thing, my daughter would get excited, start running around the house screaming, which I love that noise, and it's a joyful noise, and it just kind of makes you smile. But at the same time, when you're trying to sleep and you're like dead tired, it kind of makes it hard. It makes it hard because you want to get up and see her, and and be a father. But at the same time, you have to get your sleep too. This is like a nice mix for like clouds. If I was going to do a painting with clouds in, but I'm not necessarily going to do that. But if you're wanting to do like a darker sky, this would be these different mixes of titanium white and blue would be freaking amazing with the way they look together as far as like in terms of sky. I have a smaller Pareidolia over here. I was down there. I was going to do, because I wanted to try to do a quicker video today, because I think all my videos are too long and I don't have a way to edit them. And so I was just going to try to do like a shorter video, but it's really complicated, very, very highly detailed. And I haven't painted in a while, so I didn't want to like do it and then mess it up too bad. Once I get down to about here, I'll be able to concentrate better, because I won't be on a ladder. I'm just trying to do the sky as quick as I can. That way I can get to the main thing of it here. I mean, man, I've been so upset lately because of stuff that's going on in our household, but as soon as I started doing this today and the closer I got to getting ready to do the video itself, I mean, I actually got really happy. So this tells me that I'm doing the right thing by doing this. Now initially, I thought that the water spout went like way up here because there is discoloration in the wood grain all the way up to here. But then I looked at I reviewed a practice video of it and I realized that it doesn't necessarily have to go that far. Got this one big streak going down here on the side. I thought about kind of making that like a lightning bolt, but I don't know, I just decided against it. I think I'm going to cover it up with this anyway, and matter of fact, once this is done, I'm not going to do this on video, but once this is done, I'm going to kind of make a makeshift frame out of this right here, so it's going to cover up both sides of this plank of wood. And I just dropped one of the main paints that I wanted to use. Oh well. Let's see here, I think I'm going to take the water spout up to about, I think at highest it probably goes up to right here, without seeing it on the camera. And I got the camera parked up on a ladder and it's producing a better angle for me today, which is nice because I've never really been very happy with the angle that I've had the camera with for any of my videos. It's a little too light. So darken that up a tad. Kind of like that a little better. I put a little bit too much titanium white in it. This isn't all about the sky anyway. But by adding in these darker portions of the blue, I'm realizing that I'm kind of inadvertently putting clouds in the scene, which is okay. It makes it seem more lifelike. Clouds, I always like putting clouds in paintings, especially when they pop up in there by accident. I usually don't even mean to make them, they just kind of pop up. But then again, when you're doing that by accident, they don't look super like professional like Bob Ross or something. This looks like a regular old Tony Colt painting, I guess. Sometimes your fingers can be paintbrushes too. If I'm doing my job right, you should be able to see that this is going to be a pretty cut and dry painting. Hopefully it is anyway. I'm hoping I'm not going up too high with that. I mean, how high can a whale shoot up water anyway? You know? I don't want to make it look too unrealistic and ruin it. It makes me a little nervous because it's not exactly clear where the water actually goes. I'm thinking about going ahead and putting in just a streak of titanium white real quick, just to kind of help guide myself on where the water was headed in this picture. not gonna look like a $2 billion crossover or anything like that. I need to get something to help guide me into that. I could clearly see it, especially down around in here. I just don't want to end up going over it, and I don't like that brush. It's too long. And I don't want to make the water too white either, because then it really wouldn't look realistic. It'll just look like a white thing on top of a blue dot. It wouldn't look right at all. I need my glasses on for this, actually. As I said before with other Pareidolia videos that I've made, it's kind of harder to actually see it the closer you are to it. So a lot of times when I see Pareidolia in my barn, it's usually out of the corner of my eye at first. Then I let my eye relax, and then I pick up the image like that. That's got way too much blue in it. Way too much blue. I shouldn't do that. I'm gonna end up ruining the water spout by having too much blue in it. Or at least if I'm gonna do it, I should use a clean brush for it. And definitely not be afraid to put too much white in it. I think I'm gonna throw these long brushes away just so I don't grab them anymore when I'm trying to paint. I don't even know what they're used for. Yeah. See, another thing I'm doing inadvertently right now is kind of messing up my painting because I've got paint on my fingers and I'm so used to smearing things to try to bring out a certain look that I like to have in all my paintings, especially for anything that moves, like water in this scene going up from the spout of this whale right here. I have a tendency of liking to smear things in motion like that, and in this case it's messing me up because I've got blue paint on my fingers, so it's putting too much blue in what I want it to just strictly be white. So I'm gonna get away from doing that right now. I'm gonna go with a little bit darker blue. Boy, oh boy, I was standing out on my deck last night, or a couple nights, the other night, and I saw an awesome Pareidolia. I mean, it was awesome. The only problem is I can't paint it because of its location, because it's out on my deck, and don't own this house. So I can paint in my garage all I want, but I can't paint on the deck. So instead of doing that one on my deck, like I am on my barn wall here, I'm just simply gonna paint it regular on a canvas. And when I post it, I'm gonna post it along with the piece of wood on my deck, side by side, so you could see that the image was inspired, would be my first painting inspired by Pareidolia, instead of just strictly being alternative Pareidolia, as I like to call it. The more I look up Pareidolia, the less I feel like this is actually Pareidolia, because it's not necessarily faces. They only list. I want to go over that spout there. They only describe Pareidolia as seeing faces and things. And that's not what I'm doing at all. This is seeing entire scenes. I have them in the woodwork all around me. I mean, I've got at least 10 that I can see just from being in this one spot. In the wood grain, it's just the way that I interpret that. And so I don't know that I should be calling it yet alternative pareidolia, but I can't think of anything better. But I like to call it alternative pareidolia because this, okay, like as I'm going into the spout here, the water, into the water, I'm not going all the way into it. I'm leaving a little bit of a dark wood seen through because up close it actually looks like super good because it's making it stand out more against the clear blue sky, which actually kind of sucks because like I'm using so many different types of shades of blue right now and I'm not getting them blended in properly. But this painting's not all about how blue or how clear the sky is. And it's strictly about this whale and the fact that he's shooting up water. The two things that are the most clear on here is one is the water line, even up close. As I said, you lose a lot of resolution when you get up close. But also the water spout. That's what I think drew me, and then I saw the shape of this and I realized that it resembles the shape of a whale. Bring a little bit of that blue. I love that blue now. Now that I never liked it before, but now that I've been out west and saw how much bluer the sky is out there, I'm really starting to like that blue a lot. Because it reminds me of being out west. I loved it out there. Loved it. Definitely want to go again. I mean, when you think California, you think, movie stars and palm trees and mansions and the beach, babes, bikinis, stuff like that. But what I really liked was more how deeply blue the sky was, particularly in the desert. I love those rocks that are like by your car and stuff like that, the canyons and stuff, especially out in Utah. Utah, I think, was probably my favorite. Eastern Utah and western Colorado. Yeah. We went through this one canyon. I'll probably be talking about that in all my videos because I'm still excited about the trip. It was just, man, I couldn't even get over how beautiful it was out there. If I go back out west, I'd like to spend some more time both in Utah and California too, because those, I think, were the prettiest two states that I went to out there. Especially the area between San Luis Obispo and Villa Beach. If you've ever been to the Smoky Mountains and you're watching this and you liked how pretty the Smoky Mountains were, you would definitely love the mountainous area between Villa Beach, California and San Luis Obispo, California. Because it's basically just like driving through the Smoky Mountains, but you're in California instead of Tennessee. So I really liked it out there. Right here was where I got a little bit too careless there. I didn't realize that I was already down there on that water level. That's like the main number one thing I can't mess up. Crap. I'm gonna have to get down off the ladder and break out the old trusty yardstick. Unfortunately, I don't have a ruler. It would be about 50 times better. The main thing with doing any water, or particularly any ocean scene, is that it has to be perfectly level, because the water itself is self-leveling, so you don't want it to be lopsided or anything like that. I mean, technically you can kind of make it lopsided, I guess, but what you want is a nice, clear, straight, crisp, strong line, uninterrupted, especially for horizons. After that, you're fine. But this is like the one spot to where I don't want to have blue going out of line. This part right here is a little harder, especially with the yardstick, and I am going out of the line a little bit, but since I'm putting in the light first, it's okay, because I can go over that light, the differential with the dark, and the dark will cover it right up. And so I guess it's better to do this when you're doing a horizon of an ocean, to bring in the lighter sky first, make it darker at the top, make it lighter at the bottom, but when you do get to the ocean, put in a very straight line, and use your lighter sky colors rather than your darker ocean color. Because if you do go out of line, then you could easily cover it up with the darker ocean blue. It would have been easier for me if I had a ruler instead of a yardstick, but what are you gonna do? I mean, beggars can't be choosy, so. Okay, I'm done with this sky part. I'm gonna go over it maybe one time with a cleaner brush, and maybe bring a little bit more darker blue down. But like I said, I'm not gonna spend 3 hours on just blending in the sky or anything like that. I'm just gonna simply blend it in a little bit more, and then leave it at that. Okay. I'm gonna go up here and like climb into look at the back of the camera real quick and make sure that I'm gonna have like a better idea. Oh yeah, I definitely need. We see here. Okay. The sky looks better on camera than what I thought it did, like from up close. And so I'm doing actually better than what I thought it was. So that's always a plus. However, do a little bit of smearing and put more white in that. Particularly over in here. See, one effect that you can get from smearing when you use your other paintbrushes, you get that sense of motion that you can't necessarily get from the brush. And I'm keeping within the realm of it being Pareidolia, because I'm only, as you see, in which I'm glad I was able to get a better angle this time, because you could see this time that I'm only going along with the wood grain itself. I'm not just simply painting a picture. This is already here, embedded in my 140-year-old barn, in the wood grain itself. And I am proving to you right now that it is not just my perception of it. I mean, because if it were just my perception, it would be everywhere. It would be inspiring a painting. It wouldn't just be simply painting right over top of it. When you see these images in wood grain, paint over them. Paint what you see is there so you can see it. And make other people see what you see. That way they're not like just saying, oh yeah, I see it. No, look, paint it so they could see it too. I was on I'm on a Pareidolia group online, and some guy was like, I forget what I put. I was like, putting something about proving that something was there. I think it was over the golfer video. And he had put something like, duh, like that, and it offended me. And I was like, why'd you say duh? And then he was like, because proving something that was there to be seen when indeed there's something to see is a useless waste of time. It really upset me, but you know, oh well, this is what I'm going to do. I mean, I love it, and I really don't care if I get maybe 1 or 2 bad reviews. What I need to do right now is find my audience. There's some group, some demographic group of people out there that will see this painting and think it's great and love it and understand that this was made strictly from seeing an image in wood grain itself and being impressed by that. And so hopefully that's you watching this video, and I don't get those dull comments again. That was like really rude. There's no car for this. This is my artwork. This isn't some game. He said this, did you think this wasn't some game? I was like, no, it's my art. And I love it. It's not even not even the fact that I love it. It's just like, I'm just so happy just to do it, that I feel like it's, when I do it, you see every single one of my problems right now while I'm doing this just seems to fade to nothing, because I really don't give a crap about these things right now. I just want to paint and be happy. And it's not necessarily the painting itself that makes me happy. It's doing these videos and showing that these images are truly real. That I'm not just seeing this and then just interpreting it as a whale shooting water up in the ocean. It's legitimately real. I like this aqua, or this ultramarine blue for the ocean. I never actually have used ultramarine blue before in any of my canvas paintings. So actually, now that I am, I actually kind of like it. I wouldn't use it for like anything close up or shallow water, but for horizon ocean, that dark part of the horizon that you see when you're gazing out into the ocean. This is always mesmerizing. It's actually perfect for that. Yeah. I would never use this for close-up. Only from the horizon. So I'm going to bring this out only so far. And then I'm not going to use it. Unless I'm just adding titanium white to it to relax the color a little. It's just too bold. Especially for anything close up. I mean, it would be good for just like maybe the first inch of your painting, of your ocean part of your painting anyway. But beyond that, no. I'm actually starting to roast a little bit. I'm glad it's still warm. But rather or not, I do actually get to the other 3 Pareidolias that I have out here in my barn. I at least wanted to do this one before I have to close the Pareidolia barn up for the rest of the year. It's kind of hurting my neck. I'm gonna have to get back up on my ladder. It's a little higher than I initially thought it looked. But I at least need to get this one done so you can see the whale. I have a lady in here right over there on my wall that I've always seen. I've always taken pictures of it, and everybody, I'm actually the only person that's ever seen it out of like dozens and dozens of people that I've showed it to, and how many times I've posted that particular picture of Pareidolia online. Nobody has ever seen it. They're like, oh, I see a crying eye, and then another person sees like I see a duck with his head pointing up to the window. No, man, that is a lady standing there. And I think I'm gonna try to do that one pretty soon because it's like always been so clear to me. But that one I think actually qualifies more as apophenia than pareidolia. Because it does seem like, I mean, at least I have the feeling that if I do it, that is actually, no, I don't want to say it, that sounds stupid. But I just have a feeling I shouldn't do it. So that tells me that it qualifies more as apophenia than pareidolia, which are linked closely together. And they're pretty much about the same. But which makes me think some of the things that I might see is actually not only an alternative to pareidolia, but an alternative to apophenia also. If I were to do that, lady, like right over here, just steps away. It's out of your camera view, of course, but right now. The good thing about this darker ocean water here is it's going to make the water seem even more noticeable. Man, I wish I could paint the music. Mazzy Star would be perfect to listen to for this painting. That or Jack Johnson probably too. Because both of them are extraordinary to listen to. She's not outside, is she? Okay. Both of them are extraordinary to listen to while you're painting any ocean scene. Which I think for that very reason that I can't put music on these videos, I might start doing more paintings without doing the videos for them. Just simply so I can listen to music while I paint. I think the detail on this would be pretty good up close. I see the line now. I can lighten this up later. Right now, I'm just trying to get it as close to this water shooting out of the whale's spout hole or whatever it's called without going into it with the deeper, darker colors of the ocean around it. That way that the water is more noticeable. Usually, if you're looking at the ocean, it's not this dark close up, and I can tell that this is a close up view because of where the whale is and how the size of the whale, as opposed to the rest of the scene. And so I'm definitely going to have to lighten this blue up a lot. I just want to get it in and around this part of it right here as perfectly as I can. Oh yeah, this is perfect. Very perfect. Very, very, very awesome. Great. Okay. Okay. Now that I'm getting close to the whale itself, I'm being extra cautious not to go anywhere on his body at all. That way I can separate his body from the rest of the water and make him look very wet and clear and defined, coming up out of the water a little bit. And so I'm taking extra caution right now to basically set those boundaries for myself on where to paint right now. I'm just going to go ahead and whip in some color to finish off this part of the ocean fast. Over in here and off to the side. I can always go back later and change the color, but I'm not particularly crazy about it. But you know, oh well. So I'm gonna go in, I think, with some sky blue over top of this. I just need to get the darker blue in first so I can set my boundaries in terms of, you know, where this thing is at, where the whale is at inside the water, and where the water spout is too. But I think this is going to turn out really good. I'll put this down. I'm going to try to get this done as quick as I can here. Ooh, gotta look too close to that whale there. I gotta watch what I'm doing. I think my problem is I've got too much of this dark blue in my paint, and it's not coming out on the woodwork. It's just kind of glomming up. I think it needs to be thinned down a lot, but I'm going over it anyway, so this to me right now is not the important part. It's, well, all of them is important because it needs to have water. And maybe it's the brush I'm using. There we go, that's a lot better. It spreads it more evenly. The round brush does. Well, I thought it was better anyway. Really shouldn't worry about any of this too much, because when you look at it in the Pareidolia barn here, it's going to be behind these two things. It's going to be like a little cheap makeshift frame that I'm going to do on my own. I might even paint over it or paint over these and paint them white before I actually staple the frame itself to the wall here. But I just need to get a really good image of what, you know, picture in my mind of what I'm actually doing here. I think my problem is I'm needing to use maybe a smaller filbert. I might be low enough now where I don't need the ladder anymore. Hey, Donica? No, never mind. You wouldn't be able to find it fast enough. Certain brush I need. She wouldn't know. Even though I'm getting anxious to do the whale itself, I can't really do it right now because I would have to put my hand in the paint in order to paint the stuff that's above it. So it's irritating me a little bit because I'm wanting to hurry up and get this done so I can paint the whale. That's what I'm really looking forward to doing. And this paint's not wanting to cooperate with me for whatever reason. Now this shadowy part outside on the wood grain outside of this darker part right here where his body is going to be like the splashing of water, as if you're in the boat and your movement in the boat causes the water to ripple. And so I'm trying very hard not to get any of that darker blue into that. But as I'm covering all of this water with this dark ultramarine blue that I'm using, now I remember why I never use it for my canvases. It's just too damn dark. I think it's perfect for horizon, but for up close. Or maybe for ripples, deeper parts of the ocean. Which if you're seeing a whale, it's obviously going to be in a deeper part of the ocean. So I guess it's appropriate for this. It's just a little bit too dark of blue. I've always thought anyway. I don't want to go too low with my darker blue because then I'll get it on my hands and then I might end up smearing it into the whale itself. But if I'm doing my job right, hopefully by now you're starting to be able to see that this is a whale and that he's shooting water up out of his spout. And I just put like a shit pile of blue in the spout. He's like shooting up blue water at a high velocity. Okay. I probably shouldn't get any closer to the whale than where I'm at right here. Now I can see this. If you could, I don't know how much you could see from where you're at, because you're like way up there, pointing down, looking down. I don't know, but there's some wood grain right in here that, as I'm up close and looking at it, it provides a dimension of folding water, like water coming down. As you see, like his body is rising up out of the water and it's causing a ripple effect, causing the water to go downwards. And that is showing that as I'm coming up on this one particular part of the wood grain, it's emphasizing that for me. So it's like the wood grain is working with me on making this particular painting. I feel like it's actually perfect for this. This is taking a little bit longer than I thought it would. Hopefully I can get it done before my father-in-law drops off my daughter. Because if he sees me out here painting, unless he sees it and likes it, and then decides to let me keep it here. I don't think he has much of an eye for art. Right now I'm just filling up space in terms of color. I'm probably going to go over this with some sky blue after I put the whale in. before I come back down into here. But basically when I do the water that I'm going to do, I'm going to keep the whale right in the dead center of the water. I'm going to try to keep it kind of like that in my painting right here. So everything down here beneath the whale is going to be pretty much about the same as up here, except for I'm going to keep this darker ultramarine blue for the horizon. But up close, this is actually starting to look really good. Okay, now that I've gotten pretty much everywhere I need to be in terms of color, I'm going to go ahead and do the whale first, and then the ripples of the water that he's rising up out of. I might put a little bit more white in this spout right here. I kind of got some, especially at the bottom, because it's going to indicate more pressure coming out, a stronger pressure. Because you imagine for the water to shoot up this high and then come back down, it's going to need to have a lot of pressure behind it. So putting in more white right here about where his body is going to give that indication of a stronger pressure pushing up, particularly at the bottom of it and at the base, kind of in the center. And that's going to be it for the water that's coming up out of him. I'm not going to do any more than that, because then I don't want to end up doing too much and then ruining it. But I'm just going to see right here what the actual finished piece is going to look like. This is going to be really good. This is going to be one of my better ones. Certainly maybe even probably better than the sailboat for sure. So I really need to focus on this whale right now and go very specifically with his details, his finer details. So now that I'm doing the main enchilada here, I think I'm going to start with the center of him. I was going to start with the outline, but I think I'm going to do the center first. Thinking, I don't know if I should do a cold gray or a gray, because a cold gray is a lot darker than a gray. So I don't think I have cold gray out here. I thought I did. Payne's gray. I was going to use that for the outlines. Where's the cold gray that I had? Huh. Plenty of Payne's gray. Light crab gray. Maybe I can use light crab gray for his body. I'll try it, see what I think about it. Hope I like it. Here goes. Now see, his body is wet. So I can use several different types of gray on it to give the indication of where we're looking at on his actual body itself. And I can do as much smearing as I want to try to give the impression of his shape and color. We are creating a whale. Our first whale scene. Now, that's okay. I think I'm gonna try to do a little bit of a gray now. That was a light crab gray. I'm just gonna put that. Oh, well, there's my cold gray. Darn it. I remember when I was up on the ladder, something fell. That's what it was. It was this, oh, that's not even cold gray. It's silver. I must not have brought any out. I'd like to put in some silver up in here. But not yet. I'm going to finish the wheel first. That's my main reason, the whole main star of the show here. And so, seems kind of weird not using any brushes, but the brushes you're born with, it seems like they could do just as well as a paintbrush, especially for shape and pushing paint further and more even. I like it, actually. Okay. I'm going to give him a darker color along his spine there. But not necessarily a Payne's gray yet. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I could do a Payne's gray on the outside. Now I do need a brush for this because that was a little bit. This is getting into the edge now, and that edge is a lot tighter. Beautiful. This is perfect. Okay. And part of me wishes that I could edit things like that. Like I'll watch these videos. There's this one lady, I think she was like doing a DIY video of like how she redid her front porch, and it was a great video. And I noticed that she would like have certain scenes in it where she'd be talking in her garage, and then the next scene would show her dad or her husband putting up this light fixture, and she would like have it in fast forward or motion, and then she would pause the video to see the after effect. I don't have any of the capabilities of doing any of that, and I think it's hurting a number of views. But at the same time, when you watch this whole video, you can see how this painting is taking shape. You can also see that the Pareidolia is actually there. It's not just something I just simply just did a painting and called it done. Now see, with the smearing, I was able to kind of even out that color a little bit from light to dark, and then give him the color that he's supposed to have. All right, that's done. Then the whale itself is done. You really, when you're looking at whales, you don't see that much. You only see like it's just a little bit of them, of their bodies. I got the dropsies today. Pretty bad. Now the benefit of using this brush is that it's not perfect. And so what that means is that it gives the perfect impression of moving water, in particular waves, the darker part of the waves, which is what I'm doing right now. So each wave that you see, each ripple, and especially in deeper, darker blue water like this, is going to have this dark, shadowy stuff to it. It's not going to be completely, exactly, perfectly white. However, around the edges of it, I am going to make it white. Okay, so I think in addition to the white that I'm going to finish up with here, I think I'm going to go ahead and lay in some silver around him. Not in its entirety, just enough to smear it, add it into the color. I've always liked putting silver in any ocean painting that I do. I think it's perfect for water. Okay, certainly not gonna overdo it on the silver. Now, the rest of it is just gonna be titanium white. Around that inner edge. To give the illusion of the water moving. He's poking up out of the water. And this is going to be uninterrupted light. I'm not going to smear it. Because that would give the illusion of light or sunlight directly hitting his body and the water at the same time. See, that's giving his body more noticeable, making his body more noticeable, and is showing that there's movement in that water around him because he's making the water move around him as he surfaces his body out of the water to get rid of that water that's in him or whatever. Do the steam thing that they do. I don't know anything about whales really. But I think that if anybody sees this and likes whales, they might like this painting. There you go. Now that I'm up close, putting in this wide. Wait for this truck to go by. I'm seeing now just how much this picture is a whale, even before I even saw it. The reason why I say it's because of the wood grain is making, up close, is making the perfect shape of the highlights of a whale. And I'm seeing that it's like definitely a whale of some type in here. I think this is like the clearest one I've ever done in terms of it being true Pareidolia. This one is definitely going online. So I'm hoping that the audio and everything turns out. And keep it away from there. It's just full about beak in there. Man, up close this is really very definedly a whale in there. I did not imagine this at all. I just literally happened to see it with my eyes. And hopefully if I'm doing my job right, you guys can see it as well as I can. leaving this foggier, it also gives the idea of water falling down back over it. Now that I've done with that, I'm going to go ahead and finish putting in the ocean, only not so dark. I'm going to try something I've never tried before. That's way better. If I just simply use this just to put the water, just the colors that I want in, I can use a regular paintbrush that you would ordinarily would for a wall anyway. I would never use this type of paintbrush on a canvas, but in this instance, holy crap. It's almost as if this makes it an eye. I didn't realize that before. What I'm doing for the ocean scene here beneath it is I'm mixing ultramarine blue with sky blue together, and I actually like it a lot. I like that blue for the ocean. I think it's perfect actually. I mean, I don't even know how much realistic it is, I just know I like it. Wow. It looks like better than I thought it would. A lot better. The thing about this brush for what I'm doing, is it leaves the wood grain poking through, which is actually kind of cool looking. I actually think that this one here is probably now my best one that I've ever done in terms of pareidolia. I'm really proud of this one. This is great. I'm glad it turned out really good. Well, I'm getting pretty well finished up. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this video. Please watch more. I've got a lot more coming. If you happen to like it, yeah, I'm glad you do. I mean, I love doing this. This is a major dream come true for me. I just absolutely love doing it. This is great. And so I hope you guys enjoy it too, and thank you if you've watched it all the way through. Man, there's no way I can even just let you know how much I appreciate it or thank you enough for doing that, for enjoying it. Hopefully this art form takes off. I think this has been a major success this time around. Really pleased with this one. Alright guys, you've just watched my newest Pareidolia video. This one's called The Whale. I hope it turned out really good, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. Bye guys.